What is up, everyone? How are we? It's good to be back. I hope all of you Australians had a very, very good Australia Day and the Australia Day weekend. I sure did. So today we've got a real cracker, which is how to improve your sleep. Because the thing that a lot of people really struggle with is just shit sleep. In fact, the vast majority of people who I work with come to me thinking that they've got pretty good sleep and they're doing okay. They're getting a good 6-7 hours a night, and then I make a few alterations to their lifestyle and their nutrition and whatnot, and then their sleep just goes through the roof, and they're like way better. So we're going to go hard into this one, and I'm going to discuss the basics of sleep, and then just give you 3 really easy steps to make your sleep so much better. Because honestly, these things will literally change your life. You've got no idea how shit life is when you have bad sleep, and then we compare it to how good you can feel once you have had good sleep. It's chalk and cheese, right? Absolutely chalk and cheese. Who we got on? Reese Livingston, good to see you, mate. Raw, Manthi, George, Ash, Aiden, Epic. Also, guys, after that, we're going to go in through Q&A. So if you have any questions that you want whatsoever, ask them away, okay, and I'll go through and answer them. This one's going to be a shorter one today, so get in quick. So I'm probably only going to be on for 15-20 minutes or so, so start commenting now. Alright, so let's go into it straight away. So with sleep, the reason why you want to sleep, well, I mean, it should be pretty straightforward. If you don't sleep, you feel like shit, alright? That is as straight up as it gets. You don't feel anywhere near as good when you don't sleep. So when you sleep, it actually cleans out this stuff called adenosine from your brain. What adenosine does is that slows you down. So when you're low on energy, it accumulates. You get more adenosine floating around. It slows your thought. It gives you that brain foggy type stuff. It makes you unable to move. Okay, all these sorts of things start happening when you have low energy. On top of this as well, when you start sleeping poorer, you then get an increase in cortisol and you get a decrease in stuff like IGF, or the more anabolic hormones, IGF, testosterone, all that. On top of this too, it's shown and it's really well studied that athletes and people who sleep for a lot longer, so like 10 hours or more of good quality sleep, they actually progress way faster. So literally, it's a no-brainer to sleep more. On top of this too, as far as your mental health goes, if you sleep more, you are less likely to suffer from anxiety. So it actually improves that. Sleeping more will actually, from what I've seen, actually reduces the symptoms of anxiety. Alright, I work with an absolute heap of people, and I've found that if you fix the sleep, often the anxiety follows afterwards then, and that's partly through both the neurotransmitter related thing and just being able to rest and turn off out of fight or flight. Okay. So pretty much the easiest ways, just piece of piss ways in which you can fix your sleep, right? Number one, before you go to bed, reduce the amount of blue light that you're getting, okay? So you can do this in 2 ways. Turn off all the lights and just live in, by candlelight. It's nice and romantic, but not very functional, okay? Turn off all your screens, all those sorts of things. Or alternatively, you get those weirdo celibacy glasses that I wear, and I've posted up on my Instagram several times. And you just whack a couple of those on. What they are is they're like an orange visor glasses, and they block out all the blue light. And you'll actually notice that when you put these on, alright, you put these glasses on, you'll actually start feeling sleepy within about 30 to 45 minutes of wearing them. They're actually really epic. I started wearing them just recently, okay? So that is number one. That is the easiest way to do it. Number 2, the next thing you can do is you can start optimizing your nutrient timing and start shifting your carbohydrates to the end of the day and backloading like I do for literally all of my clients. We start moving the carb timing just before bed, because after you have a large amount of carbs, you get sleepy really quickly, okay? And when you get sleepy, well, obviously you're going to sleep better. You're going to fall asleep faster, and you're going to stay in a deeper sleep. Now, at the same time, you can't have too much, because if you have too much food, then you often go to bed on a really full stomach. So you do need to moderate that, is what we're doing now. But yes, shifting a substantial proportion of your carbohydrates to just before bed, in like the 2 to 3 hours before bed, in that window, that's absolutely epic. On top of that as well, for those of you who actually wake up hungry in the middle of the night, combining some whey protein or pea protein or rice protein with a fat source right before you go to sleep, that's an epic way to stop you waking up, all right? On top of this too, you've got to be really careful with how much water you're consuming before you go to bed, all right? So if you're smashing a whole heap of water before you go to bed, you're obviously going to wake up to pee like multiple times during the night, and that sucks. It just ruins your sleep. So the easiest thing you can do is, well, number one, move your carbs to before bed, because when you consume carbs, the carbs actually need to absorb water into your muscles to be stored there, all right? So every 1 gram of carbohydrates that you ingest and is stored in your muscle, you need 4 grams of water, or 4 mils of water. So you need to have a substantial amount of water that gets sucked in your muscles, which means you piss out less. On top of that too, you can just crack a little bit of Himalayan pink salt on top of your food, and then because of the osmolarity of that, or because of the change in osmolarity when you have the water and the salt at the same time, your body will generally pee out less. All right, so if you're deficient in salt and you're not having enough salt in your diet, you'll actually get rid of more water as your body tries to balance out the ratio of electrolytes to water. Okay. Now the third one, which is a really, really big one that I focus on all the time, is supplementation, okay? If you are not supplementing with stuff that enhances your neurotransmitters, you're letting yourself down. And honestly, this is one area where most coaches are absolutely shit, all right? And have literally no idea what they are doing whatsoever. Pretty much in this day and age, we're churning through our neurotransmitters all the time because we are go, 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 go. All the time. We're constantly stressed in general. You know, we work long days, we don't get as much downtime as what we'd like, we're not very relaxed, okay? And when this happens, we're always, literally always down in serotonin and GABA. So what's the easiest way to improve your sleep? Well, you improve serotonin and GABA. That is how eating carbs before bed works, okay? That is how it works. You can also improve your melatonin levels. So the easiest things you can do is, number one, take a bit of 5-HTP before bed or after your workouts, okay? That's what I do for literally every single one of my clients. You take a sleeping aid supplement. We use Delta Zone at the moment, right? That's our go-to, which we use. And you can get that from Cider Supplements. Mr. Sean Cooper, he stocks it for us. And then number three is pumping the melatonin. So I don't always use melatonin in every single person because some people do get adverse effects from it. But in a lot of people who have really bad trouble sleeping, I get them to pump the melatonin. Delta Zone actually has a bit in it. It's got a couple of grams in it, but you can actually get like a high dose of melatonin, like 10 milligrams or so. And yeah, you smash that before bed, and it works. It's wicked, absolutely wicked. So what it actually does, melatonin, is when you take it, number one, it actually increases lean muscle mass and decreases fat mass. It improves your testosterone ratios, and then it also will just make you sleep really, really well. So you'll wake up feeling really, really refreshed, and you'll also start waking up earlier or more in line with your circadian rhythms, because that's what melatonin does. It regulates your natural biorhythms. So when you should be awake and then when you should be asleep, it regulates that curve. It also improves your hormones like cortisol and whatnot. It is absolutely epic, okay? So melatonin, 5-HTP, a little bit of phenibut, although it's fucking being banned thanks to our absolute muppets who are called the TGA, or the Therapeutic Goods Administration. It's nice to see that they're lining the pharmaceutical companies' pockets. But yeah, smashing a bit of phenibut or some GABA or any other GABAergic or serotonergic precursor, anything like that, absolutely mint for just before bed, okay? And that's it. So now, if you have any questions, ask away. I'm going to start going through what you guys have commented, and then I'm going to go and feed and eat dinner. Andrew Barbarino has just asked, was curious on your average protein or calorie intake per day and your body weight currently. Mate, I am trying to get about 5,000 to 6,000 calories per day. That varies from day to day. At the moment, I myself am not following like a super strict plan because I'm just going by how my gut feels. When I get more stressed, I can't eat as much, and I'm not balancing. If I'm not balancing out my stresses, the 5 stresses, then obviously I'm not going to put more stress in by eating lots of food. So it's generally between 5,000 to 6,000 a day. My average protein intake's around 350, coming mostly from meat and then a couple of shakes a day, in addition with amino acids. Right, so I smash those Cider supplements, amino acids. The EAA, BCAA electrolyte mix, so I crush like 40 grams of them per workout. Absolutely mint. So yeah, my body weight currently, I'm literally 89 to 90 kilos. So I'm like light as at the moment, super light. And yeah. Oh, Anthony's just asked, do you reduce any form of gaming or watching TV an hour before bed? Yeah, 100%, man. Just get away from your screens for the hour before bed. Hello, how are ya? There's the old man back there. You gonna say hello, Willie?
G'day all.
Yeah, no, Anthony. So, minimise any gaming or any screen time before bed. Get away from it. It doesn't do you any good whatsoever. A lot of people tell me they're like, oh, James, you know, I need to watch TV to go to sleep. Right? I need to have some sort of screen there to go to sleep. It's like, no, you don't. What that's actually doing, what I found is that people who are really GABA deficient, according to the Braveman assessment that I use, they all actually be really reliant on watching TV before bed. And so when you remove that GABA deficiency, they then take away that reliance on TV. Alright? So it's not that you're reliant on TV, it's not that you're addicted to TV. It actually turns out, from what I've seen, that you are GABA deficient. Alright? And you have lower levels of GABA. Simply by supplementing that or changing your nutrition, improving it, then bang, there goes the reliance immediately. Joe just said, doesn't a lot of sleep make you feel lazy, say if you sleep more than 10 hours? Not really, man, not really. Well, I mean, if you are sleeping really well for 10 hours plus, and then you're working at a superior rate for 14 hours and getting more done in 14 hours than what you would have before in 16 hours, I mean, I think that's a big time win. It's not about trying to sleep as little as you can, it's about trying to maximize the productivity you have through your day, okay? So if you sleep for 6 hours and then for the rest of the day you function at 50%, versus if you sleep for 10 hours and then you function at 100% the next day, I mean, it's a no-brainer that just the extra 4 hours of being awake does not make up for the loss of productivity. And plus, you just don't make gains as well. Anthony just asked, does dehydration or lack of what? Does dehydration contribute to sleep apnea? No, I don't think so, man. I'm pretty sure that's just related to your weight, man, and your health status. Brian's just asked, mate, apple cider vinegar, best time to take? If I had some in the morning and after that had a protein shake, would that be okay, or just better to drink before a meal? Man, look, you can take apple cider vinegar whenever you want. I recommend my guys to have it during the morning and then before a couple of meals, you know, depending on how their digestion is. But, you know, once or twice a day, any time is great. Paulie Evans, how are you, legend? Joe Atharsa said, Haribo gummy bears before sleep as I crave some sugar before sleep. Yeah, man, look, if you're working out before, I recommend having your fast-acting carbs just after you work out, okay? Maybe that's an old school approach of mine, but I like to have those really sweet carbs just after you work out because it's a really good reward. It actually makes you work harder and you improve your performance in the gym when you know you've got a reward at the end of it. You're more likely to bust your guts to then get a reward than if you had like a reward later on in the day. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have them before you go to sleep just because of the changes in blood sugar levels. I'd generally go for a slower carb. Without a doubt, there's no way in hell you feel much better on a slow releasing carb. Your energy levels are the same. You don't wake up. I actually remember crushing a whole heap of high GI sugars just before bed, and I would be absolutely fucking wired, like completely wired. Before I went to bed, I'd have trouble sleeping, and then I'd crash, and then I'd wake up again, and it's really messed with me. Because as your blood sugar levels change all the time, also do your adrenaline levels change. So if your blood sugar levels go down, you get like a shoot up in adrenaline, which is really interesting, okay? So no, I wouldn't recommend having too much high GI stuff without pairing it with lower GI stuff. Jess Verco has just asked, are we allowed grapes? If so, how much is one serve? Yes, so for everyone on Team JCF, one serve of fruit, right, is always 20 grams. So any fruit, you can literally have any fruit. I don't really care what fruits you have because they're all much of a muchness. But as long as they have 20 grams of carb content, that's sweet. Go for it. Simon Schmidt, James for President, you're a legend, mate. I reckon I could beat Trumpy. I've got no qualms with that. I 100% have it all over. Anthony Drysdale's just asked, protein shakes before bed, any good? Yeah, man, they're great before bed. It just depends what you're using it for. Are you using it to bump up your protein intake? Oh, hell yeah, it's great. Are you using it to have like a slow digesting protein, like taking a casein or something like that? No, casein's shit, alright? So I wouldn't bother with the casein. Just stick with a really well digestible whey or any other protein isolate, whey, pea, rice, anything like that, and smash it before bed. That's great. But at the same time, you don't want to smash it and end up making yourself wake up multiple times through the night and sacrifice your sleep, because, well, yeah, it's not going to matter a whole heap. When we use protein shakes before bed with our guys, it's generally because they're on so many calories that, you know, they can't fit anything in, or we're trying to stave off that midnight hunger that a lot of our athletes get. Okay? Guys, on that note, I'm going to leave you to it because I'm going to go grab a feed now. The old man's back, and I've got to go get some more of these 5,000 calories in. But thank you very much for coming here, even though it was a short one today. If you have any more questions, get in the Shred community, comment away, and we'll sort you out. All right? Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you tomorrow night.